Good morning, good morning. Okay, so today, Mitzvah Shem, we're going to start talking about kashuring our kitchens. There are a lot of small nuances in how to do it, so it's important to try to follow the rules as best you could. And if you have ever any questions, please feel free to call me as always, and we can go through it in detail, specific to your situation. So there are, first, to understand what's going on. You see, there's the problem is that when we use chametz on any type of food, not only does the actual food have to be cleaned from the pot, but every food, when cooked or baked or whatever, when it's cooked or baked, it leaves off tiny microscopic blios. Now, whether or not it's microscopic blios that go into the wall of the vessel, the wall of the keli that you're using, the utensil that you're using, be it a fork, a spoon, the grill, grates, anything that you use, microscopic pieces of the food go into the metal. By the way, it could be that nowadays maybe things scientifically might be different because the metals are made much more refined. It used to be that if you heated up metal to a certain degree, it would spark just by heating it up. And the reason is because they had those microscopic things bursting out. In fact, one of the methods of kashuring is heating it up until sparks fly. Nowadays, if you heat up a piece of metal, it will glow red, but sparks aren't going to fly. The reason is because the metal is refined so much in the factory before it's put into your oven that it hardly has any blias. But that being said, nevertheless, the halacha remains the halacha, and if somebody cooks in a ben yoimai pot, milk and meat, even though it's 100% treif, and we would not allow use of that pot. So we have to understand that when you cook in a pot or on a grate or whatever, microscopic blias go into the utensil being used, and our job in kashuring your kitchen is getting out those microscopic blias. Before we start anything, we have to know that before you kasher anything, the item has to be completely cleaned of actual chametz. Because kashuring, whether you're doing hagala, whether you're boiling it up, whether you're putting it in the fire itself, whatever you're doing is not going to help actual pieces of chametz. That has to be cleaned out. If you see any chametz, either has to be sprayed beforehand. If you see any large piece, any pieces of chametz, you have to spray it beforehand with a cleaner and try to get it out. You don't have to scrape the bottom of your oven if you're putting it on a self-clean. You don't have to go meshuggah. But any large pieces, either you have to spray it first, or any large pieces you have to take off. And certainly in a keli, any actual mamashas have got to be scraped clean. The entire hagala process is only for where you are, for the microscopic parts. So the first part, those actual pieces that you can see are called mamashas. The first step to anything is cleaning out the mamashas. That's step number one. Then our next step will be to go ahead and clean out the microscopic pieces that went into the utensil, be it your oven or whatever. So now that's our job. There are two ways that we are able to perform kashuring. One of the ways is through immersing it in hot water. Now, the only things that you're allowed to immerse in hot water are things that got chametz, got the blias in through indirect fire contact. For example, if you have the grill on your barbecue, you cannot, since that had direct contact with the fire so you cannot immerse those in water. Those have to be heated up and kasher through a different method called libun, which we'll get to another day. The only method that you're able to use hot water for is if the chametz got into the keli through a method of hot water. For example, it was cooked there, or it was only used, let's say a soup bowl or something like that. It did not have direct contact with fire. At that point, you're able to go ahead and kasher it. What does kashuring do? Kashuring shocks it. It immerses the entire thing in water, and that goes ahead and knocks out all the blias, all these little microscopic pieces into the water. So now you may ask, okay, now the microscopic blias are in the water. Why don't they go right back into the outer pot or go into the inner pot? The answer to that is that we only let you do kashuring if you left the keli unused for 24 hours. This way, The chametz blios, those little microscopic pieces, are anyways called tam pogum. They're bad. They don't taste good anyways. As soon as they go out into the water, they sort of expire. If it remains in the keli, then it stays as chametz. But once it goes out, it becomes expired, and it's not going to go back in. And therefore, that is the reason why. That is the reason why we make you wait 24 hours before you kasher anything. You cannot use the item. Let's say you want to kasher your kiddush cup, or you want to kasher a soup bowl. You want to kasher all these things. You have to wait 24 hours of not using it. In fact, kashering your counters, kashering your sinks. It's all got to be wait 24 hours before you start kashering it, and then you can kasher. Because what's the worst that's going to happen afterwards is that the blius will come out and get reabsorbed. It's not going to be a big deal. However, that's only if you kasher before Pesach. You cannot kasher something on Pesach, because on Pesach, even those tiny microscopic re-emissions of the chametz are considered chametz, and therefore you would not be allowed to kasher on Pesach. We're gonna elaborate more in the coming shiurim. And again, for any shilas, please don't hesitate to call. Have a great, amazing day.